Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Droid Assault. This is the new game. By the way, do not adjust your computer monitors. That kind of screen flicker is normal. This is the new game from the guys at Puppy Games, and you might be thinking, you know, this title screen kind of looks reminiscent of some other games that I've played, but I can't quite put my finger on it. You might be thinking of some other Puppy Games like Revenge of the Titans was a big one. That was in like the second Humble Indie Bundle, which I think gave it a huge boost. That was like a tower defense game with a tech tree, and then there was also last year's Titan Attacks, which was like Space Invaders, but reimagined with sort of a progression, almost like RPG elements to its sense when it comes to like upgrading your ship, etc, etc. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is basically that Puppy Games is known for taking these simple concepts and making very stylized, addictive, but overall very small in scope games based on it, and Droid Assault, which is new on Steam this week, is no exception to that. This is essentially a twin-stick shooter in the same vein as something like Smash TV or Robotron 2084. I feel like I'm playing twin-stick shooters a lot this week, and this is one of the better ones I've played for sure. So it's very much arcade, like score attack style. There's no story to speak of, but there are some interesting gameplay mechanics that Mr. Smith from the Matrix, or Agent Smith from the Matrix, rather, would probably be fond of. So the way things work, we're this robot here. Normally, we would be able to shoot, but I can't really demonstrate that yet because this is our starting robot. And just explaining the HUD here, we're using WASD to move around. We have a chassis strength as well as a battery strength, which you can't really see right now. But the main premise of this game, the main gimmick, if you will, is that we have the ability to transfer our soul, essentially, into other robots. So by looking at this G101 here, if I right-click, by the way, I can see the number of transfers I have, which is 3, because they are limited. So by right-clicking on this guy and kind of like channeling a beam, I can actually take control of this robot. And then our goal becomes to actually destroy all of the robots on the level. So our overarching goal on every single level is to clear the level of robots, either by shooting them or by taking them over, like so. So I believe we still have a few more left. You can always tell by the arrow on the HUD where we were supposed to go, like where the remaining robots are or where the exit is. And the levels are very much standalone. It's not like you move from one area to the next. Instead, what you're doing is just killing all these guys and then moving on to a brand new level. And by the way, as you take over robots, you also pick up power-ups like this overdrive power-up, which will be tied to this robot for the rest of the game as far as I know. So anyway, having completed that level, we can see what we have in our arsenal here. So we have 2 G101 guard bots. I'm going to take this one because this guy has an overdrive, but you can see all their statistics, like their chassis strength, their armor, their weapon, etc, etc. And you take these robots with you from level to level. So basically, as time goes on, if you play well, you can amass an army of different robots that can really help you out, especially when it comes to fighting harder and harder robots. Because as time goes on, you do fight harder and harder robots. And I should point out, next time we see a droid, remind me, there's one up here for sure. Yeah, if I hover over the droid, if I could actually get visual on him, you can see that he's G128. You have to look pretty quickly there. But he's G128, and what that means, the 1 is the only thing that's important there, really. This indicates that he is requiring 1 transfer to take over, which is good because transfers are very much limited. I think you get 1 every floor, but I'm not totally sure on that. You can also pick them up as you go, but we'll see. As you can see right now, we have 1 transfer. We'll see if we get one when we go down to the next floor. So again, I'm going to stick with probably our G102 guard bot here because it is a +1 blaster, which is a little bit better than just your regular blaster. If one of these robots dies, though... Oh, we still only have 1 transfer. Weird. Maybe it's based on points instead. So I should mention, if you have a robot like a 200-level robot here, you actually need 2 transfers to take it over. And I do have 2 transfers now, as you can see in the bottom right there, or when I right-click. So I'm not 100% sure on the mechanic of how you get transfers in this game. I assumed it was based on either levels or points, but I'm not totally sure now. I think that's another transfer right there. No, +1 battery side. So our battery indicates how fast we can fire, how often we can fire. Like, I can just spam this and get our battery down, but as you might expect, it recharges fairly quickly. Although if you're in a boss fight, that can be, you know, too long, essentially. So what I'm gonna try to do, as far as I've discovered from my play of Droid Assault so far, there's 2 different ways that you can play the game, each with varying degrees of success depending on your personal strategy. You could either try to get the largest army... Oh, this guy's almost dead. You could try to get the largest army possible by just taking over absolutely everything that you come across, or you could do what I'm going to do here and save up a bunch of transfers and then use those to pick up better and better robots and try to upgrade those robots and use those basically as your primary robots as you move throughout the levels here. So there are checkpoints that we're going to come across, not randomly, but at regular intervals. And these checkpoints will allow us to, basically, usually it comes after a boss fight. We could, if we wanted to, start the game at these checkpoints. But I'm starting, you know, Isaac style, that's a transfer right there, at the very start, because I want to make sure that I can amass the largest following of robots that I absolutely can. What's wrong with my guard bot? The problem is that our AI-controlled bots are kind of stupid sometimes. This is a danger stage, apparently. We should take over one of these guys, because they are much, much stronger and are easily able to defeat their own kind. So yes, unfortunately, one of our robots did get destroyed by one of these jerkwads earlier, but hey, he actually did a really good job of taking out the other one. So we picked up a little bit of money here. The money essentially works as points. Originally, this was a little misleading to me. I thought this was actually like a, similar to a Titan attack system where you would spend that money at a, upgrading your weapons and whatnot. It looks like we're the only one we've got now. We should take over another 200 level bot, or even a 300 level bot. But the problem is you don't want to take one over after you've already shot it, because, then you're basically getting damaged goods, which I don't want to deal with at all. I'm not sure if destroying these cameras does anything for you, but some of these cameras are actually turrets. We did have a shield there. I did not notice that. So my high score overall, if you're going to watch and see if I can actually beat it on this one, is actually around 47,000, I believe, and there are online leaderboards. I can't stress enough that this is very much not necessarily, I mean, it is a single-player game, but it's not necessarily heavily single-player designed. It's much more designed almost in the old arcade style, where you're supposed to, challenge your friends and do your best to beat them. So that's a 100 level. I should take it just because I need... Is he hurt is the real question here. Oh, I'm really hurt. He's not that hurt, so I'm going to take him over, and we'll use him for now. I'm basically going to use this guy and his sweet blasters to try... Ah, it was so stupid. To try to get us a third-level robot. Now, this guy is pretty weak. If we die with this guy, though, we will be able to play as our other gentleman, provided that he doesn't actually get killed. This is not a good situation for me. That's a 200-level robot, so we're just going to back up. I think that's a recharge rate token. That's going to improve the recharge rate on our robot. But right now, there's a lot of 100 levels that worry me, because they do a lot of damage. That repair is actually really useful. The thing is, like, 100-level robots might not seem that powerful. I mean, they do die in 2 hits, but when you are a 100-level robot, you die in 2 hits as well, or similar. So we did manage to get a 300-level robot here with a shotgun attachment. So we do have a 3-droid family. But certainly things are not going so well so far for us overall. So one of the main dangers for me is not accidentally shooting our own robots, because it is kind of weird getting used to a game like this, where you're not controlling just your individual robot and shooting absolutely everything else. You're actually controlling a squad. It's kind of a neat take on the genre. I actually like it a great deal. I'm not sure how I feel about the game overall. Like, as a game, I feel like it's a little bit shallow, and I don't necessarily mean that in a negative way. I mean, if you want to look at it completely rationally, or like objectively, scientifically even, Titan Attacks was a very simplistic... I should just actually take this one over. Shouldn't have shot it first, but oh well. Titan Attacks is a very simplistic game. That's an example of me beating a level, by the way, by taking over a robot as opposed to simply finishing the level. But yeah, Titan Attacks is a very simplistic game, so it's not necessarily a terrible thing. That just because a game is simplistic doesn't necessarily mean it's awful. However, this is the kind of thing where, in 2013, this game's going for $10. Is that a fair price? It's not an unfair price, but is it necessarily a price that a lot of people are going to be very interested in when it comes to picking up this game? And I think the answer to that question is going to be not to the extent that Puppy Games is possibly thinking. That is a huge effing robot there, which could do a ton of damage to me. I just want to make sure I can kill it. You'll also come across armored targets with alarming regularity that will do a crazy amount of damage and take a crazy amount of punishment from you. That's what I'm trying to watch out for primarily right now. Again, I want to stress that your robots are exceptionally fragile, so even if... Oh, I thought that was on my team. Even if you spend a lot of time... So we get another transfer there, which is really useful. Even if you spend a lot of time saving up for like a 3rd or 4th level robot, the game has no sympathy for you and can easily knock you down to size. But this is a game that is not necessarily meant for, 2 hours of sustained play. It's more of a time waster, and that's often used as a pejorative, but I don't necessarily mean it as such. This is terrible damage that I'm taking. We can use the mouse wheel and move around to other robots. I don't want to be this one. Do I want to be this one? Do I want to be this one? Yeah, this is the one I want to be. Alright, because he's got so much health right now. We will be coming across a boss soon. Can I just take over? Oh, I should have tried to take over that armored police bot. That would have been sweet. But I've already hurt him so much that it's probably not worth it. How about this guy up here? Nah, he's only a level 2. It's probably not worth it. I think this is where our boss fight is going to happen. We do have a nice supply. Oh, there's one more up here. We have a nice supply of robots that hopefully will follow me into battle here. The AI is a little bit wonky sometimes. Sometimes they just choose to kind of hang out, do their own thing. But hopefully they'll jump into this boss fight here with me in a second. Oh, we do have one more. We got to kill all the droids first before we get into the boss fight. So he's like down here somewhere. There we go. Oh, that was some stupid damage, and I am substantially hurt. But he's dead. Alright, so now we're going to go fight the boss. Almost all of my guys are pretty hurt. Who's this guy? Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know why my screen's going like that. I actually have a lot of health right now, which is great. I can't take over the boss, as you might expect. Actually got to kill this guy of our own power, and he's basically wrecking our existing boss. This could be our death right here. At a very low score, sadly. But I can look at his health. How's he doing? I can't see. I think he's nearly dead. Oh, you know, he's like 50% dead. Yeah, maybe 60% dead. So we should be able to take him out, provided we play accordingly here. You do have to use a degree of strategy. You absolutely cannot just, like, run and gun without any kind of forethought in this game, or you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. If we get too close to him, by the way, he does have, like, a shotgun of his own that he can use on us. There we go. So we managed to survive. We do have a second robot around somewhere. I guess he was just scared, so he's hiding out. But that's okay. We'll just drive this robot to the end here. I prefer this robot because it's a lot stronger. But we'll see if we survive. So this has been one of my best runs so far. Not totally fantastic, but we're still alive. And we have a ton of transfers. So the first thing we should do is absolutely try to get a slightly larger army here. Even if it is just an army of 1 bots for now. We can basically use these guys as scouts to work and scout ahead for us. It's a P3 hunter, which is going to do a ton of damage to us, as you might expect. You know what, again, this kind of reminds me of, in a weird, possibly unexpected way, is inside a star-filled sky. It kind of reminds me of that, is that you're like constantly changing the player character. Can I take over this guy? Oh, I can! That's the first time I've ever gotten a bot this good. So I did get an achievement for that as well. Security level 4. Alright, this guy is probably awesome as hell. Get in my fuck zone. Yeah, it's like inside a star-filled sky in the sense that you're constantly changing the person you're playing as. And it also, this constantly changes the kind of scale. So when you're a really small robot, you zoom in a little bit. When you're a larger robot, things zoom out and get a little bit more macro-based, if you will. Not necessarily macro-based in like a StarCraft sense, or in like a key-binding sense, but more in like a just a wider scope, you could say. Like literally wider scope in terms of the camera. So we're going to continue playing as our bomb squad robot here, which is awesome as hell. And again, we only have 1 transfer, so it's going to be hard for us to create like an army or anything here. But in spite of that, we are doing reasonably well for ourselves anyway, I would say. Just try not to lose this guy, because he's really valuable. The problem is he's super slow, but offensively, he does a crazy amount of damage. Obviously, we're going to have some 1 bots up here that should be fairly easy for us to take out without much problem. Is there another one up here? There is, okay. I'm just going to drop a shot on him there. I took another piece of damage, which is not good. Sometimes you'll kill these guys, and they'll drop repair tokens, which is really useful. Especially if I can get a super repair on this guy, because this guy is by far the best robot I've ever had in my possession. We do have some transfers available. We can pick up like a level 2. Oh, that's not good. We can pick up like a level 2 robot if we wanted to. Oh, there's a super repair. No, that's armor. Well, still, I got a little ahead of myself, but armor is nothing to sneeze at either. So your robots do get upgrades, but again, these upgrades are fairly transient because the life of your robot is fairly transient. In terms of some like complaints I have about the game, things that I feel like could be changed, why don't we, we should still be in control of this guy because the AI will just get him killed. I do like this game, I have to admit. Why do I have danger? Why did I suddenly get hurt is the real question. I think it would be awesome if the game actually did have some kind of upgrade system. It might, oh, I'm gonna die in 1 hit. I mean, we'll still have other guys that we can take control of, but still, I don't want to lose this awesome robot. I mean, it's kind of in the nature of the game that all of your robots are basically short-term. I think that's another transfer token. Yeah, that all of the robots you get are basically just short-term investments, but I think it would be cool if it did have some kind of tech tree or upgrade system similar to Revenge of the Titans or Titan Attacks. I'm going to take over this guy, and we're basically just going to let our bomb squad guy go. I like this robot because it's really quick and does a decent amount of damage in its own right, but it, as you might expect, classic trade-off doesn't really have that much HP. That guy's not doing so hot. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to pick him up despite the fact that he has 1 more requirement for transfers than I have. Maybe we would have picked one up on points here. I'm thinking that we might actually get a high score here. I was expecting this video to be like 4 runs of me playing droid attacks because the nature of the game, again, is basically just score attacking, fairly quick runs, certainly under an hour each. Our bomb squad guy is still alive, but that's okay. We are up to 4 transfers, so I could either try to build a huge army. Oh, Jesus. I could either try to build a huge army, or, there we go, I could just try to go for a couple of really good robots, which is what I'm going to do. In fact, by a couple, I basically just mean one. So our battery size is a little bit larger. That means we can shoot more. Some big robots here. I think I'm using a similar robot to the P337. We have bouncing bullets, which is awesome for this area. These targets are armored, so they're going to be a total pain in the dick to deal with, so we're just going to ignore them for now. Don't die right after getting this guy, please. That's the exits. And we do still have a decent supply of robots at our disposal. We still have the bomb squad one, and it looks like he's actually been healed, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but I'm grateful for it regardless. Now, what else do we have to kill? There's one robot over here. Beautiful. Level complete. Get the F out of here. That sentry gun level was a real problem for us. I don't even know what level we're on, actually. There's 20 enemies. Oh, it's on level 15. Awesome. It looks like our bomb squad robot is actually fully healed. Oh, no, he's not. He just actually exploded. But again, that's not a dead end for us. Now, with 2 transfers, we are probably going to be interested in building an army here, because if we just die with this one, that's basically good game. And these guys are all really strong, but sadly we don't have 3 transfers, so I can't take one of them over. I would absolutely love to, but it's impossible right now, literally. So this is the furthest I've been by far. That is armor or super repair there. I would absolutely love to get to that, but might not be in the cards for us just yet. There's about 20 angry robots in the way. There you go, Rovio, sequel to Angry Birds that everyone would love. Fun for the whole family. Oh, I don't want to get hit, but I also want to just take one of these douchebags over. Come on, you can do it. Oh, maybe you can't do it. You're gonna die. Get the armor. Get the armor. Take over one of these guys. Oh my god, I made it. And I zoomed out a little bit. And I'm gonna die again. I only have 1 transfer left. My battery is like totally dead. It's okay, just do some good dodging and you can make it out of here. No, I can't. I'm gonna effing die. Super hard. No power-ups for me to get up there. I'm coming up. I think there's a boss on this level too. I do finally have some space available to myself, but now the AI eventually just managed to get me, and that is indeed my high score here. I don't think there's much point in showing off more of Droid Assault, to be honest with you. We're gonna check out our online scores. I was not doing too well on the leaderboards. Wow, people have definitely surpassed me. How about Steam friends? Just me? Yeah, number 1. I wonder where I would even be online with a score like 50,000. Hey, there you go. I'm in the top 50 out of like 95. So I'm around the median level of your high scores for a Droid Assault player. But in any case, I don't think there's too much point in showing off more of the game. It's fairly shallow, and I don't necessarily mean that in a negative way, but I do mean it in kind of a buyer beware sense, where this game's gonna be $10, and what you see is what you get. It doesn't have any kind of expansive meta game or things to keep you occupied outside of the gameplay. Is the core gameplay itself worth $10? That's basically up to the player. If I was buying it myself, if I had to put myself in the shoes of someone who, well, I didn't actually receive a review code for this one. I bought it on the strength of Puppy Game's earlier releases. It's the most original of Puppy Game's earlier releases. It's the only one you can describe, I think, without comparing it to something else. Like, oh, it's a tower defense game plus, or oh, it's Space Invaders plus. But despite being the most original, at least in my opinion, it's also probably the worst of the 3. That still means it's a decent game, but is it a game that's worth $10? Well, that's basically up to you to decide if you have kind of a drought for stuff to play right now and you're into these arcade-style score-attacking games. It's a good game. I really love Puppy Game's kind of like neon meets cute aesthetic, but is not going to say a misstep, but perhaps a little bit disappointing given the pedigree of the company. But still good fun in its own right. In any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.